Okay, so when we talk about the Dragon, so this is, remember, this is Dragon 1, right? Dragon 1 only carried supplies and cargo. So they would take up clothes and food and scientific experiments and so forth on the Dragon 1. And then in the trunk area, they would put some other stuff, some other experiments and stuff that could be exposed to the vacuum of space that would be pulled out and attached to the side of the station or something like that. But all the crew necessary cargo and food and all of that stuff would be put in, and then when they wanted to return it back to Earth, then they'd put it back in and it would return back to Earth. Well, now we're going to be seeing the Crew Dragon, right, launch people, and it's really exciting that we're less than 2 months away from this launch, because I have been waiting for the Crew Dragon to carry people up to the space station for years. They were originally scheduled to launch people at the end of 2018. They had a couple of problems that they needed to fix, and thankfully they got them fixed. And honestly, a delay of 2 years in space travel stuff, like building rockets and so forth, is actually not a very big delay. Some programs are like 5, 6, 7 years behind schedule, because getting to space is difficult, and we want to make sure that people are as safe as possible. So I wanted to show you this video really quick that just does a really good job of kind of summarizing the Demo 1 mission. So we'll check this out together here. Oh man. So this is the control room, and then there's liftoff, right? So this does not have any people on it, but it is demonstrating the ability. Look at their, so cool. Their mission control has these huge windows, and a bunch of employees stand outside and watch what's going on. This in the background is actually the very first Dragon 1 capsule that went to space and came back, and you can see it's got like scorch marks on it. It's being held up by a net that is actually part of its parachute. Pretty cool. So let's check out the rest of this video here. So this is a mannequin that they set up with a whole bunch of sensors and so forth to get data on how the flight went. They named this astronaut Ripley after the character in Alien, played by Sigourney Weaver. So yeah, this, and then you see this little Earth plush toy. This is what they call the 0G indicator. So you'll see that it floats around the capsule when they get it up into space. So this is during launch here. Oh, that's a great onboard view. So cool. You can see, yeah, beautiful views. And this is the SpaceX team in the NASA launch headquarters there at Cape Canaveral. This is Elon Musk right there, the CEO of SpaceX. So there's the stage separation, there's the second stage engine, and then here's the first stage coming back to land. So remember, this is the only rocket that can do this, the Falcon 9, that can return stage. And then there's the separation of the Dragon. Here's the Dragon from the International Space Station, and you can see little Earth stuck there. This is a sped up. This is sped up footage of the Dragon approaching the space station. When you get up next to the space station, it goes really slow, so they don't hit into anything and break stuff. But then you can see the camera on board the Dragon as it approaches. Again, this is sped up footage. And then there we go. Docks together. They open up the hatch. Astronauts come in, see what's going on. So it's pretty cool. So the only time that there were people in there, I'm not going to play the audio for you here. This is NASA astronaut. I believe her name is Christina Koch. Oh man, I might be remembering that wrong, but she's awesome. And then yeah, you can see the Dragon docked there, and then they release it. So you can see that nose section just folds up and away, and then when they're done docking, then it folds back. Sorry. Yeah, so pretty cool. And then there's Bob and Doug right there. I'm watching the whole thing because they obviously are very interested in this mission because this was the test before they got on and rode the thing. And there you go. There's splashdown. And they recovered the Dragon on this ship using these fast boats and jet skis and stuff. They recover it in the ocean. It comes and lands in the ocean. Just a few, like 20 or 30 kilometers off the shore. It lands in the ocean. They recover it, put it on the boat, take the boat home. So, sorry you can hear my youngest crying. She's unhappy about something. Today is the first day of potty training for her, so that's going to be interesting. Thanks, Kalia. What modifications would have to be made to make a longer trip? Make a longer trip on the Dragon? What make a longer trip? Could you clarify your question a little bit, Kalia? And I'd be happy. Just in space. Like a longer trip. I don't quite understand your question. So, oh, going, so, so the Dragon, I don't know if we could modify the Dragon to go to other planets. It's a pretty small spacecraft. I mean, people could, but you'd be in there for a long time. They'd have to launch on a more powerful rocket than the Falcon 9, which is saying something because the Falcon 9 is a very powerful rocket. But the interior of the Dragon is like the size of a large SUV. So like the interior of a Suburban or a like a big Ford Expedition or something like that would be kind of the interior of the Dragon. So it probably wouldn't be a great place to spend several months. You'd be very cooped up. So we'd have to make some different modifications for sure. But the Dragon was really designed to just take people and supplies up to the International Space Station here in low Earth orbit. Let's watch this one as well. Okay, there we go. So this is this is an animation, right? This isn't actual footage, but here you see the Dragon on top of the Falcon 9. And then this is the crew access arm on the launch support tower. And then you have these vehicles pulling up. We may have watched this in class already, but I'm just so excited that we have a launch date for people riding on this thing. So there it is, looking nice and sleek. I love the design of the Dragon. It's so futuristic. And the just everything that SpaceX does, like they want to make sure that they do it the right way, but they want to make sure that it looks cool too. Like utility has always been king for NASA and other space programs. So it gets the job done, but it doesn't necessarily look pretty. Like I like the Saturn V, I like the space shuttle. They look cool, but they're not like beautiful to look at, right? And then you can see this here. This is a Tesla Model X, because of course it is. That's the way that the astronauts are going to be transported to the launch pad for this mission profile. So there you go, astronaut getting out there, walking along the crew access arm. I'm pretty sure that that is actual footage that they put into this. Maybe not. I don't know. It just looks really realistic. And I'm pretty sure that that is real footage too, not an animation, because it looks so good. I don't know. It might be an animation. It's so hard to tell these days. Computer renderings are so good. Then here's the touchscreen interface. And you can see the crew access arm pulling away there. And you light the engines, and there we go. Kick the tires and light the fires. I swear this is real footage. And then it's just like slightly shaky cam. Breaking the sound barrier, stage separation. And then the second stage lights, gets the spacecraft into orbit, and they detach the spacecraft. Astronaut waiting for the station to pull up, or for the Dragon to pull up from the station. And then I think that footage there is actually just modified footage of the Dragon demo one. And there's the docking. Yeah, so pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure that this is real as well. I'm pretty sure that this is real footage from the, I mean, it's hard to say, but going around the planet, you can see the atmosphere there and some city lights. Really cool. Really cool. So anyway, I just think that this is going to be such an inspiring mission, because the United States hasn't launched people to the space station from U.S. soil since the retirement of the space shuttle. Right? We've been riding on the Russian Soyuz capsules, and it's just, I don't know. It's going to be really inspiring, I think, to see American astronauts on an American-made rocket. I think a lot of people take a certain sense of pride. I mean, it's really cool that we get to ride on the Soyuz, but remember that Soyuz is the same since the 70s. Well, no, since the 60s. We've been using that same exact design, the rocket, the launch vehicle, just everything. The Soyuz is pretty much unchanged since the 1960s. And now we really have a 21st century launch vehicle that's going to be taking people up. I'm really excited about it. So I don't know if you all are, but obviously I am. So it's going to be cool. What questions do you have about the SpaceX Dragon? Anyone have any questions? Feel free to unmute your microphone or put them in the chat. No further questions on that? Okay. Well, it's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited. May 27th is the launch date. That launch date might slip a little bit just for weather and stuff, but as of right now, they are pretty dang sure that they're going to be launching at the end of May 2 astronauts on this rocket. So the Dragon is really cool because SpaceX and not NASA owns the Dragon. They can do really whatever they want to do with it. Um, they are currently working with NASA, right, to build these things and launch them to the International Space Station. But SpaceX could very realistically, in the next few years, be selling tourist seats on this spacecraft. So people, not you or me, because I don't have this kind of moolah, could buy a ticket to ride on the Dragon in space. So you could go up in space inside the Dragon, do a couple of orbits, and then come back down for, you know, cool 20 million. uh, um, so yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see how many tourist opportunities present themselves, and then when other commercial space stations, so like space hotels and so forth, start coming into existence from like Axiom Space and Orion Span, um, then we could see this capsule taking people up to those space stations, which is really cool. Space hotels. So yeah, it's really awesome. I'm really excited to see how the Dragon is used going forward. It is such a cool um, such a cool spacecraft. It's designed to carry up to 7 astronauts. NASA will probably not be using all 7 seats ever. So you can remove these seats and then put like cargo and stuff. I believe the maximum that they would be launching on one launch would be four astronauts. Look at how futuristic that looks. It's so cool. Like these shiny chrome tubes coming down the side and touchscreen interface. Really cool. Okay. Yeah. Pretty awesome. So there's the touchscreen interface there. It's all upside down, but you can just it locks away and then it can also be pulled down. Whoa. I might be putting my computer under a little bit more stress than it can handle right now. So yeah. So that's the Dragon. NASA has a contract with SpaceX to make the Dragon. So we talked about how commercial space companies make money, right? Making money by launching satellites, but also by developing spacecraft for agencies and other companies. So this contract with SpaceX that NASA has given, they also have a contract with another spaceflight company to build a similar capsule called the Starliner. The Starliner is a very cool capsule. It is slightly less futuristic looking, a little bit more utilitarian in its design. It was supposed to be making its first flight around the same time as the Dragon. However, they have had several problems and setbacks, and oh man, that spacesuit just does not look as cool. It just doesn't. I'm sorry, it just doesn't look as cool as the SpaceX one. Okay. Uh, it looks kind of silly, in my personal opinion. Kind of blue and puffy, and anyway. Um, the the Starliner is a cool design. It's a very cool spacecraft. I am sad that we don't get to see it launch soon with people. We saw it launch without people, kind of like a demo one, but they had a whole slew of problems during that launch. The capsule made it back to Earth, but it didn't get to dock with the space station because it had a issue with the the mission elapsed clock, and it told the capsule that it was in a completely different phase of flight than it actually was, and it started using its thrusters and was freaking out. And there was all sorts of software errors that in the computer, the guidance computer, that was found later. Um, all sorts of problems, all sorts of really serious issues. And my guess is that we see the Starliner launch for the first time with people maybe around this time next year, because this it just was a mess. The test flight was a complete mess, and so there's like this big thing, this big beef between SpaceX, mostly just SpaceX fans, and Boeing. Um, Look, I understand that you can be a fan of one company. Like, I'm a huge SpaceX fan. I own SpaceX merchandise, for crying out loud. I wear SpaceX shirts and hats and um, all sorts of stuff. I mean, I have memorabilia, but um, that doesn't mean that I'm not a fan of Boeing too. Obviously, Boeing made some mistakes, and that's a problem. But any company that is trying to get people into space and kind of push forward human spaceflight, I am supportive of them. So I understand that people want to hate on Boeing for all sorts of reasons, which I'm not going to get into any more reasons, but um, it's, I don't know. I just think it's kind of petty to be saying, Boeing doesn't know what they're doing, whatever. So, but we will see these two capsules flying within next 18 months up to the space station. It's really exciting. So, questions about the Dragon or the Starliner, how they compare, how they work, anything like that? Come on, guys. I know it's early, but I'd love to hear from you. Anybody? Anybody? The hi, says Khalid. Thanks. Um, Might as well talk about the rocket that the Starliner launches on. It's the Atlas V in what's called the N22 configuration. So here it is. Has two solid rocket boosters strapped on the side here. Um, this is an artist rendering of what it looks like in space with the Starliner on top, and then see those boosters. So Kalia, explain what Boeing is. So Boeing is a company that builds spacecraft and aircraft. They're an aerospace company. So if you've ever heard of a Boeing 747 or a Boeing 737, those are some of the most popular planes in the world for commercial air travel companies like Delta, Southwest, American Airlines, you know, Qantas, all those different Lufthansa, all these different air transportation companies and agencies. They buy aircraft from Boeing. Um, Boeing is based in Seattle, Washington. Boeing has had kind of a rough few years. I'm sure that you heard about the Boeing 737 MAX. Um, had 3 crashes in the past like 18 months, killed 400 people, 500 people, something like that combined, which is really unfortunate. There was a really serious problem with the autopilot and as well as just kind of the um, navigation computer on the 737. So yeah, this is the 737 Max, and it had all sorts of problems. They're very good plane, like very efficient planes, but they've had some serious problems. So Boeing is a aerospace company. They build planes, spacecraft. They also build the Delta IV rocket. Four rocket. Um, so this is the rocket that lights itself on fire before it launches. Remember? This is built by Boeing. You can see those scorch marks from the fact that it lights itself on fire before it launches. So metal. So metal. I'm gonna go to space, but first I'm gonna light myself on fire. It's awesome. Yeah, so that's Boeing for you. Space flight company, aerospace, airplanes, all this stuff. So they're a huge company. Huge, huge company. They also build like fighter planes and all sorts of stuff for the military, missiles. Yeah. Good question, Kalia. Thank you. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to talk about today, and I am not going to assign you anything new today. I will leave that for a later time this week. Um, does anyone have any other questions about Crew Dragon or the NASA Commercial Crew Program, which is the program that made the contract for the Starliner and the Dragon? By the way, those are great names, don't you think? Dragon, Starliner. I think those are pretty cool names. Okay, well, if there are no more questions on that, then I'm going to end the recording.